Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. My name is Penny, and this is Penny Small Spaces. I hope everyone's doing well and enjoying their summer so far. The kids are out of school, soccer season is over for the summer, so we are busy making plans with the grandkids for things to do for the next couple of months. I also had a great week out with my girlfriends. We had a ton of fun out there, lots of big belly laughs, which are the best kind, lots of great food, hot tubbing, and just sitting out in the sun. It was marvelous. So in today's video, I have two things that I want to accomplish. I need to do some wall treatment on the bedroom walls so that I can get all of the rest of the walls up in the dollhouse. And then I want to make a bench for the end of the bed in the master bedroom. So without further ado, let's get started. So I opted to paint two of the walls in the bedroom this lovely blue color. But once I was finished painting, I thought that maybe they looked just a little bit boring. And so what I decided to do was to take this 1/16 of an inch wood dowel and just create some interest on the walls by making some frames. So I'm going to do some on each side of the doorway plus one across the top. I started by cutting a 90-degree mitered corner edge on the wood dowel. Then I measured out the length of this piece, which is 5 inches. And if you're making a box, you need to make sure that your miter cuts are opposite on each end of the dowel. Now I cut out all of the pieces for 5 boxes that are going to go vertical and one set that's going to go horizontal above the door. Now a little trick that I have to make sure that when I put these rectangles together that they're square is to use a little bit of graph paper. Now I like to use the 1/4 inch graph paper, but really it depends on what scale you're working on as to which one will work best for you. So from my graph paper, I have cut out a piece that is 5 inches by 1 inch, which is, of course, the size of the frame that I'm building. And I have taped it to the underside of a piece of parchment paper. Now when you do that and you use that as your guide to build your frame isn't going to glue onto the graph paper because, of course, you're going to probably get seepage in your seam. And it's also not going to glue to your cutting mat either. Having the parchment paper allows you to shift and adjust those pieces until you have it square. So here's my completed rectangles, and you can see the one on the left is a little bit bigger. It's about 6 inches by 1 inch, and that's the one that's going to go over top of the doorway. So before I attach them to the wall themselves, I'm going to go ahead and paint them. These are going to be the same color as the wall, but I just think it's going to be easier to paint them here on my desk surface than once they're actually on the wall. Now I've measured out the placement of where I'm going to put them on the wall. I want to make sure that each of these pieces are at the same height, of course, and I'm going to use my rulers to make sure that they're in the right spot. I'm also making sure to remove any glue seepage from around the inside and the outside of that rectangle. I decided that I liked the effect so much that I actually carried it over onto the wall behind the bed as well. Then I added wallpaper and wainscoting onto the opposite wall where the fireplace will be, and I used the same basic method as I did in the dining room in the last video. I couldn't help but dig out some of the furniture that I've made for this room so that I could see what it was going to look like once it was all put together. Then I decided to try something a little bit fun. I don't know if this is going to be the final look or not, but I wanted to give it a try. So I took some of that wallpaper and I just added it into these spaces that I created on this wall. These are not glued in, they're just set in there. But I would love to know what your opinion of it is. Do you think it's too much? Or do you think because it's the same matching wallpaper that it kind of ties the room together? I'm not sure if I'll do it on this back wall. I kind of have to play around with it, but like I said, I'd love you to let me know what you think. Next, I wanted to make a bench for the bottom of the bed. Now this bench can be used in a couple of different ways. It can be used just to sit on while you're getting dressed, put your shoes on. But I also wanted it to be a little bit of storage so that you could put linens and extra blankets in it as well. The construction of the box is very simple. It's just 6 pieces. We have a front and a back. We have 2 pieces for the sides and then a top and bottom. And then I'm also going to create a padded seat for the very top. I've measured up 7 millimeters from the bottom on the front piece and the 2 side pieces. I don't want the bottom of the box to sit directly onto the floor, and I wanted to create a little bit of a sculpted edge along the front and the 2 sides just to give it some interest. I'm not worried about doing that on the back because you won't see it. Then I cut a couple of pieces of paper. They're 7 millimeters wide and then the same length as the front of the box, and then another piece to fit the sides of the box. Then I cut out a sculpted edge that I'm going to trace onto the wood. To do that, if you fold that piece of paper in half and then draw out your sculpted edge, when you open that paper back up, both sides are exactly the same. After I traced that design onto the wood pieces, I went over the pencil markings with this awl. And this is just a sharp tool that's made to make holes. But by tracing over that design, what I'm doing is basically creating an indent. And then when I go back in with my scalpel to remove those pieces, I'm more apt to stay on the line and not cut away pieces that I didn't mean to. Your scalpel blade should now follow along in that indent that you've created. Once I had that cut out, then I went over it with some fine grain sandpaper just to even out some of the edges and make it nice and smooth. To assemble the box, I'm going to start with the back piece, which is piece A without the sculpted bottom, and then my 2 side pieces, which are piece B. So I'll start by putting a little bit of glue on one edge of piece B, and I'm going to set that right directly on top of piece A. Once I have the first side on, then I'm going to add in the bottom piece. So this is your piece marked C, and I'm placing glue on both the short sides as well as one of the long sides. I'll put that piece on top of the back piece and up against that first side that we installed. And you can use that 7 millimeter line that we drew as a guide for where it should sit. And then we can go ahead and add in the second side piece. Again, that's piece number B. And we're just going to add glue, first of all, on one short side. And then I'm also going to place a line of glue along that 7mm line so that it actually will attach to the bottom piece as well. So now that we have the back, both sides, and the bottom of the box in place, now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to add the front of the box on top. So I'm just putting some glue along these edges and adding the front piece. Now I want to make sure that I'm placing it so that the bottom of the box is nice and flush, as well as the top. I'm holding it in place for a couple of minutes to give that glue a chance to start to set, but you could also wrap a piece of masking tape all the way around to keep it nice and tight together. Now for the top, I've cut piece number D out of some chipboard, just because it's easier to put holes through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out an equal distance so that I can put 3 rows across. So this is 45mm. I put 12mm on each of the outsides, and then there's about 10mm in between the 3 sets of dots. And I'll do that same measurement on the other side as well. Once both sides were measured, I drew a line straight across. On the long side, I measured in about 15mm from each end, and then I made marks at about the 10mm mark all the way across the top line and the bottom line. For the middle line, I staggered those 10mm increments so that my dots were in the middle and made more of a diamond pattern than a square pattern. I'm just darkening the dots here just to make them a little easier to see, but this is the pattern that I ended up with when I was finished. And then I went in with my drill and I just drilled very small holes where each of those dots are. These holes don't need to be very big, they just need to be wide enough so that you can put a sewing needle up through the hole and then back down again. I've cut 3 layers of quilt batting, the same size as the piece of chipboard. Now if you don't have quilt batting, that's fine. There's lots of things that you can use. You can use a very thin piece of foam, or you could even use some thicker kitchen towel or paper towel. Then I'm taking the same fabric that I used for the headboard on the bed, and I'm going to basically wrap that up so that the quilt batting is in between the fabric and the back of the chipboard. And I'm just going to glue that in place. You'll want to glue that down so that it's snug, but not too tight. If you glue it too tight, you will lose some of that cushion that will be for the top of the bench. You'll also want to go in and trim away as much as you can of the excess fabric so that you're not gluing over top of the holes that you've drilled. Now I'm going to take a sewing needle and I've just put a matching white thread, and I'm going up from the bottom through the batting and through the fabric on the top. And then you're going to want to go down through the same hole with maybe just a couple of threads in between, so that it just doesn't pull all the way back through. But once you get it fed back through, you're just going to pull it so that it's a little bit snug. And all you're going to do then is just create a little bit of a tuft in the fabric. Use your needle to go up from each of the holes that you've drilled on the back and then back down. And then I'm going to take a little bit of glue and I'm going to go over each of the holes just in case that thread ever gives way. I want to make sure that it's very secure on the back and that those tufts don't start to fall out at some point. Now my intention is to glue that piece that we just made onto the top of this box. But before I do that, I felt like it was probably a good idea to paint it so that I didn't get paint on the fabric. I also went ahead and painted the rest of the box as well. So now it's time to put it together and then maybe add some trim. So the first thing I'm going to do is attach the cushion to the top of the box. And when I do that, I want to make sure that there's an equal space all the way around the edge, because the top of the box is a little bit smaller than the cushion that we've made. And that top of that box is actually going to fit snugly onto the top of the actual box itself. I'm going to weigh that down for now, and we'll work on putting the trim on the remainder of the box. I've cut some trim out of some very thin coffee stir sticks. These are 4 millimeters wide and only about 1 millimeter thick. And I have mitered off the corners and made them the length of the box itself. And I'm just going to go ahead and create just a little bit of trim on the front of the box as well as on the two sides of the box. So you can see that I've put my trim now on the front, and then I've carried that over onto the two sides as well. I did not put any trim on the back because, as I said, you're not going to see it back there anyway. Now this lid is just going to sit on top, but you could, if you wanted, add a hinge here so that the bench part of it or the seat part actually just lifts up and is attached. And if you wanted to do that, you could just simply put a fabric hinge here where you can see the crack between the side and the top. Just put half on the side, half on the top, let it dry, and then you can fold it in. Let's see how it looks in the bedroom. Now I think it actually matches the decor in the bedroom quite well. I love that the top of the bench matches the headboard. I think it kind of ties it all in together. I am, as I said, very curious what you think about those inserts of the wallpaper into those frames. I'm still very much on the fence, so I would love to hear what your opinion is on that and whether or not maybe you would carry it around to the section in behind the bed as well. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate that you take the time to watch the videos, and we will see you in the next one. Bye for now.